This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, the search for a missing swimmer continued off St Clair Beach today after he went missing yesterday. Demolition of Invercargill's CBD to make way for a redevelopment has started with a bang. And a Dunedin sport and exercise science project on human movement is helping smash myths about science and scientists. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Daryl Baser. Rescuers continue to look for a teenage boy missing off Dunedin's Second Beach since yesterday. The initial search began yesterday at 4:30 p.m. after reports of a male in trouble in the water at Second Beach.
Searchers returned to Dunedin's Second Beach this morning to resume the search for a teenager missing in the waters off the city's St Clair Beach. A shoreline search was also completed this morning, and the police dive squad have since arrived to help in the search. Otago Surf Lifesaving Search and Rescue Coordinator Max Corboy told the Otago Daily Times last night an area stretching from St Clair to Tunnel Beach had been searched. An Otago Regional Rescue helicopter also took part in the initial search.
For more on this developing story, visit odt.co.nz or read the full story in full coverage in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times. The Octagon Experience Plan was announced in November and will now result in full and partial road closures in the area over the next 2 months. The heart of Dunedin is about to undergo a temporary transformation into a more pedestrian-friendly space. The temporary changes are coming in 2 stages. The first has an almost full vehicle closure of the Octagon, as well as parts of Princes, George and Stewart Streets as far as Moray Place. They begin on Monday and continue until February 14th. Smaller partial closures are set to continue after that until March 23rd and have been timed to coincide with a string of major events. The Dunedin City Council is urging people to give the 2-month trial a chance, but some Octagon business owners are still crying foul. Demolition of Invercargill's CBD to make way for a redevelopment has started literally with a bang. The inner city redevelopment sees the demolition of an entire block bordered by D, Tay, Kelvin and Esk streets for an inner city redevelopment.
The start of demolition of an entire block in Invercargill's CBD to make room for a new development featuring retail and office spaces as well as inner city apartments. HWCP Management Director Scott O'Donnell is confident prospective tenants will start signing up.
From a purely commercial point of view, the people we're talking to about leasing new space and no, it's actually on. And up until, Tuesday night, they weren't certain.
Deputy Mayor Tony Biddle says it's the start of a new era for Invercargill.
Rebuilding the heart of our city centre, and I'm personally ecstatic about it, to be fair. I think once people see the development, it'll give our city hope.
The demolition follows months of debate and legal action. Work was due to begin 2.5 weeks ago, but halted when a Nelson property manager filed an interim injunction in the High Court. A court hearing at the start of this week gave approval for demolition to proceed. O'Donnell is scathing of the delays and frustrations his company has encountered.
Because it became a situation of we've got to get this done for good of Invercargill. It became just painful in process, and that's something New Zealand's got to learn from. I mean, this Resource Management Act thing isn't designed to get an outcome, and it's really bad for New Zealand's future. There's got to do something about that.
It's expected the demolition process will take 4 to 6 months, although it may be sped up to make up for lost time, with the first part of the project expected to be completed by next year. In Invercargill, The South Today.
Police are concerned about online comments made by members of the public in relation to an active Alexander alleged assault case. Southern District Police posted to social media saying they're keeping an eye on social media commentary in relation to an incident which happened on Monday. In a social media post, police say comments encouraging violence will not be tolerated and police will investigate any allegations about concerning comments thoroughly. Inquiries into the alleged assault are ongoing, and officers also advise some comments may have the potential to impact the investigation. A Dunedin Sport and Exercise Science project on human movement is tackling myths about science. A group of Year 13 science pupils undertook an exercise project as part of the University of Otago's latest annual Science Academy program. 51 leading Year 13 pupils from rural, provincial or low decile secondary schools are spending this week at the Otago University learning more about science.
The Sports and Exercise Science project is ideal for these kids all from rural, lower decile schools because it breaks that stereotype of scientists being in a lab with test tubes and Bunsen burners. So they're working with some fairly high-tech gear here that no school in the country has ever seen before, probably. And it also widens the horizon to the role that science plays in society.
The Otago School of Physical Education, Sports and Exercise supports the efforts of New Zealand's high-performing athletes, cyclists and fun runners. Broney says pupils have come from all across New Zealand to take part in the Science Academy program, even from one of the smaller islands off the North Island.
So all the way, we've got an intake of 51 students this year, all the way from Kerikeri in the north down to Riverton in the south. Our most remote student, we have one student from Little Barrier Island up in the Hauraki Gulf. You don't get any more remote than that.
Neil Anderson from the School of Physical Education says the pupils are being tested with motion tracking equipment to see how they run in shoes or bare feet.
And this can give researchers an idea about the mechanics of those two running styles, and we can then start to understand better about any demands that the muscles might be under, or economy of motion, or any potential risk for injury that participants might be in.
Year 13 Buller High School pupil Michael Suleiman was among those being put through their paces and says he hopes to get an analysis of his own running style.
Like at the moment I'm being tested on the way I run, and I believe when we get the data we get the results that states like the way I run and the way my motion is.
The exercise is part of the University of Otago's annual Science Academy program. In Dunedin, the South Today. Still to come on the South Today, a group of Dunedin students are tackling litter one street at a time, and we have an in-depth look back at a part of Central Otago history. See you after the break.
Garage Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garage quality service. Garage Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274. Lana Castle is proud to showcase their new retail space. Simply purchase an annual garden pass for year-round access to the garden, cafe and gift shop, or apply for a host card giving you full access to the castle, ballroom, cafe, gift shop and garden when accompanied by a full paying guest. Check out the website for full terms and conditions.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
No mai no, welcome back. A group of students are on a mission to clean up Dunedin one street at a time. Let's Get Trashed is a group of about 18 students who meet once a week on a street of their choosing to pick up rubbish. Group organiser Cara Lee Schultz says she had the idea to create the formal group after picking up rubbish with several friends last year. She came up with the name Let's Get Trashed when creating the Facebook group in September. Schultz was disappointed by the amount of litter on Dunedin streets. The Cromwell Basin was once called the heart of the desert, but it's now a green oasis of cherries and grapes, thanks to irrigation from Lake Dunstan. The legacy of the Clyde Dam is still being felt today as the area continues to develop further agricultural projects.
Once called the heart of the desert, the Cromwell Basin is now an oasis of cherry farms and vineyards, thanks to irrigation provided by the adjoining Lake Dunstan. In 1993, the lake created by the Clyde Dam flooded much of Cromwell's historic township, obliterating buildings dating back to the gold mining days of the 1880s. Central Otago Deputy Mayor Neil Gillespie grew up in Cromwell and remembers what the old town was like before the dam.
But when you looked around, the landscape, probably drier than it is today, and clearly not as many people as around. There was not a lot of people. Cromwell's population was less than 1,000 or thereabouts.
South African-born viticulturalist Robin Dicey says the Clyde Dam provided irrigation essential for the local viticulture and horticulture boom.
It was vital, it is still vital to the success of particularly the Cromwell Basin. We wouldn't have been able to establish ourselves here. Although it's a summer rainfall area, the soils really don't lend themselves too easily, and it's too risky to do dryland farming with no irrigation.
The Clyde Dam was thrust upon the region by the Muldoon government in the early 1980s, not for boosting horticulture and viticulture, but rather to power the planned aluminium smelter at Aramoana, which never eventuated. Gillespie says irrigation from the dam has dramatically changed the land use in the area.
You go look around and see top of the Sugarloaf and see how many pivots are up there now. Go around and look up Bendigo and up on those terraces there and how many pivots are on the terrace itself and on the lowland as well.
Gillespie has seen Cromwell grow with the influx of moneyed strangers hoping to make a buck or two out of what he calls corporate horticulture.
We've seen a lot of people then have shifted from down south or other parts of New Zealand that have come to the area and say that this lifestyle is great. Let me have a vineyard or a cherry block or whatever. So certainly those opportunities are there today. Are they a direct result of Lake Dunstan being formed? Yeah, in part they have to be. There's no doubt in my mind they have to be. Could they have happened without Lake Dunstan? Yeah, possibly. But you'll never be able to answer that.
When the Clyde Dam flooded the Cromwell Gorge, Kevin Jackson was an orchardist who lost what he calls the best apricot farm in the world. He wonders what the historic township, also destroyed by the lake, would have done for tourism.
Cromwell would have been another attraction for the tourists had it been left intact the way it was.
As for the future, Dicey says there's potential for considerably more horticultural development in the Cromwell Basin.
From the soils point of view, I think there's enough soils for a lot further cherry expansion and a lot further grape expansion.
In Cromwell, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, Dunedin's hosting 2 major mountain biking competitions, and we check out the weekend's weather. See you after the break.
Lana Castle is proud to showcase their new retail space. Simply purchase an annual garden pass for year-round access to the garden, cafe and gift shop, or apply for a host card giving you full access to the castle, ballroom, cafe, gift shop and garden when accompanied by a full paying guest. Check out the website for full terms and conditions.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Step into Shop on Carroll and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489 2274.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Thanks for staying with us. The daily trudge back to the car to position a parking receipt on the dashboard could soon be a thing of the past in Dunedin. The Dunedin City Council is trialling a new paperless parking system in the railway station's North Car Park. The 6-month trial begins on Tuesday and allows motorists to enter their vehicle number plate into the parking meter to pay for their stay. The information will be stored on the machine and accessible to parking officers, avoiding the need for motorists to print a ticket and return to their vehicle. Dunedin is hosting a double header of UCI mountain bike racing events. The Oceania Mountain Bike Championships are being hosted consecutively with the National Mountain Bike Champs over the next few days in the city. It's all downhill from here. Dunedin plays host to a series of mountain bike competitions during the next 3 days. First are the Oceania series of cross-country and downhill events, followed by the New Zealand national competitions on Sunday.
It's a pretty big deal, having Oceanias, which happens every second year in New Zealand, because every alternative year it's in Australia. So it's a UCI Category 1 race, so it's a big race, and riders get UCI points, so you got some big name riders here, and yeah.
Race Commissioner Cameron McLeod says riders competing in the cross-country have to deal with climbing 300 metres around the Signal Hill track.
Every track's slightly different. I mean, this has got a really long and quite technical rock garden, but you know, it's got its technical parts, but it's got flowy parts, so it's a really good test for the riders.
McLeod says there are 2 opportunities for New Zealand riders to win coveted titles over 3 days of racing. He says early feedback from riders has been very positive, with the tracks being quite a challenge.
Feedback from the riders has been fantastic. I love it. The weather's great, which is good for Dunedin.
Cameron McLeod's son Hamish has travelled the world racing in championship events and is currently one of the leading riders at the competition. He says having both the Oceania and the Nationals in Dunedin is huge for the sport down here.
Because they're having both events the same weekend. They've had Oceanias here before, which down rain was terrible. It was a good race, but it was terrible weather. But yeah, I guess it's kind of like a big thing having both races. They got Oceanias today and tomorrow, and then Nationals tomorrow afternoon and Sunday.
The mountain biking double-header began this morning at Signal Hill and is set to be all over by Sunday evening. In Dunedin, the South Today. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. The search for a missing swimmer continues today after he went missing yesterday, with Marine Search and Rescue joining in the search. Demolition of Invercargill's CBD to make way for a redevelopment has started quite literally with a bang. And a Dunedin Sport and Exercise Science project on human movement is helping smash myths about scientists for Year 13 pupils. Time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Stu Oldham. The pause is like I remembered your name.
G'day, Daryl. How are you, mate?
Oh, good, yourself.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking to yourself, where is that English heartthrob Benedict Cumberbatch at the moment?
I am thinking that. Yeah. He's only twice our height.
That's correct. Well, what I'm hoping to do is tomorrow in the paper we're going to tell you at the very least where his latest film's going to be shot. It's up in Central, and our team is currently scouring the streets to see if they can find him and any other celebrities that are hanging on to that too. And even more exciting news, we're looking at the waterfront proposal for Dunedin. We've got some more detail that's been released to us today about some changes that are aiming to reduce the cost of that development, but also to a staged approach, some of which will mean that major challenges can be overcome, all sorts of traffic issues and things can be tackled a bit more easily, moving the Jetty Street Bridge ramp and also space for a playground. So hopefully the report that we're looking into is going to cover the full raft of what people might hope to see in any changes over there. We'll remember during the week this week, a couple from Dunedin went to the steps of Parliament to talk about cystic fibrosis, medication for that. Well, details come through today to say that Pharmac's now going to fund that, which is fantastic news for everyone who's been looking for that. And also too, up in Central Otago, there was a celebrity sports bowls tournament with a difference, with what looked like most of the former Highlanders and All Blacks involved in a fundraising effort up there. Raised $7,000 for the Clyde Bowling Club to refurbish the building. So good news for those fellas. And when we come all the way back down to back into Dunedin, we've got some more detail too on a fella, South Otago man-led police on a high-speed chase quite a few times over the limit. So we're looking at that in the court pages.
Gosh, thanks for that. All that and more in the Big Saturday's ODT. Thanks, Stu.
Thanks, mate.
Time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, you can't beat Dunedin on a good day. This is overlooking the city from Signal Hill around midday. Looking at the situation, a front weakens and decays over southern districts tomorrow. There's some rain in the west, but it'll be mostly dry further east. Plan for a fine day Sunday as warmer air arrives over the region. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport are looking a bit cloudy with 23 degrees. Across to the northeast, grab a hat and sunscreen in Nelson and Blenheim, as you both should expect around 30 degrees. Heading down to Canterbury, a cloud or two across this area. Kaikoura aims for 24 degrees, Christchurch and Ashburton should both plan for hot days as the mercury is set to hit 28 degrees. To the southern towns, the Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore can all expect light southwesterlies and becoming fine with 18 degrees. Across to central Otago, where they're looking for Benedict Cumberbatch, Wanaka, Alexandra and Queenstown are set for light winds and high cloud, Wanaka 22, Queenstown 21, while Alexandra should make it to 23. Te Anau, you're set for light southwesterlies, becoming fine, and 18 degrees. To the northern towns. On the coast first, those in Timaru and Oamaru should plan for light winds and high cloud, 24 for Timaru and 20 for Oamaru. Inland, Twizel and Omarama are both due for moderate northeasterlies, some high cloud, and 23 degrees. In Dunedin, showers tonight looking at an overnight low of 16 degrees. Early showers clearing tomorrow, then mostly cloudy, but a few sunny periods may develop during the afternoon. A high of 17 and a low of 11. Fine on Sunday with sunny periods and some cloud with moderate northeasterlies and a high of 19 with a low of 13 degrees. And in Invercargill, cooler southwesterlies and some showers tonight with an overnight low of 14 degrees. Showers clearing and sunny periods increasing during the day tomorrow with moderate westerly winds. A high of 17 and a low of 11. Sunny periods and some cloud on Sunday, warmer with moderate northwesterly winds, a high of 24 and a low of 15. And that's all from the South Today team for this Friday and indeed for the week. For the latest news on from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great weekend. Taki te anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.